You know those game-changing athletes who completely redefine their sports? Think about how baseball had a whole new era after Babe Ruth, and golf got turned on its head with Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods. Basketball had its own seismic shifts with Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Now buckle up because Caitlin Clark is the next big name on that list. Her college career might have wrapped up with a tough loss to South Carolina in the championship game, but the way she's changed the game, it's like night and day. Caitlin's impact is massive. Her electrifying play pulled in 5.5 million viewers for Iowa's victory over unbeaten South Carolina in the 2023 Final Four. And the title game? Nearly 13 million people tuned in to watch her nail those insane logo threes and deliver some epic trash talk. Iowa's games were sellouts, home and away, smashing new ratings records left and right. But here's the wild part. Despite all this, some folks still aren't giving her the props she deserves. And today, we are going to expose them all. So, when it comes to the WNBA, it's practically a sin if you don't mention Caitlin Clark. This girl isn't just a basketball player, she's a straight-up phenomenon. We're talking about a woman who scored over 2,000 career points in NCAA competition. Yes, it's not a Hollywood movie scene. Instead, her record-breaking performances have set the NCAA women's basketball world on fire. Imagine scoring so much that people start wondering if you've got a cheat code. Clark's scoring feats are legendary, shattering records left and right. She's got the record for the most points scored in a single NCAA season, and is the only player to pull off back-to-back 40-point triple-doubles. That's like scoring a touchdown, hitting a home run, and scoring a goal all in one game. But hold on, her influence goes way beyond just playing ball. Caitlin Clark has revolutionized how people watch women's basketball. Games featuring Clark are now must-see events, pulling in massive crowds and breaking TV ratings records. Her game against South Carolina in the 2023 Final Four? Oh, just a casual 5.5 million viewers. No biggie. And the championship game? Nearly 13 million people glued to their screens, all mesmerized by her electric play and magnetic personality. Home or away, arenas are packed to the rafters, each game setting new attendance records. Caitlin Clark has single-handedly lifted women's basketball to heights we've never seen before. When we talk about athletes who changed the game, we think of legends like Babe Ruth, Arnold Palmer, and Magic Johnson. These icons didn't just play their sports, they redefined them. Caitlin Clark fits right into this elite club. Like Ruth did for baseball, Palmer and Nicklaus for golf, and Johnson for basketball, Clark is transforming her sport. We can now talk about women's basketball in terms of before Caitlin and after Caitlin. She's brought a new level of excitement, skill, and visibility to the game, ensuring her influence will be felt for generations. And let's talk about the media frenzy. Caitlin Clark is a superstar. Her ability to nail deep three-pointers, often from the logo, has become her signature move. These logo threes have fans and media losing their minds, sparking endless highlights and viral moments. But it's not just her shooting that grabs attention. It's her unapologetic trash talk, too. Clark's confidence and swagger on the court make her a must-watch. She doesn't just play the game, she owns it, and she's not shy about letting everyone know. Caitlin Clark has been racking up accolades and shout-outs from the biggest names in the NBA. I mean, when LeBron James and Steph Curry are singing your praises, you know you're doing something right. LeBron, one of the most influential athletes on the planet, has been all about Clark's game, calling her the real deal, and basically putting her on a pedestal. And then there's Steph Curry, the king of the three-pointer, saying Clark's shooting range is right up there with his. Talk about high praise, but here's where it gets juicy. While the NBA stars are throwing bouquets, the WNBA legends are, well, not so much. Diana Taurasi, who's pretty much the Michael Jordan of the WNBA, has been a bit skeptical. In March 2023, she said something like,
"Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're going to see it on this side, where, you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time."
ouch. Taurasi's basically throwing down the gauntlet, saying the WNBA is a whole different beast. And it's not just Taurasi. Cheryl Swoops, another WNBA icon, chimed in too. She's like,
So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record? Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be. And I don't think it should be.
It casts some serious doubt on Clark's ability to make an immediate impact. It's like the old guard is building a wall and saying, "Prove you can climb it, kid." Then we've got Lynette Woodard, a Hall of Famer and one of the OGs of women's basketball, throwing shade on how Clark's achievements are celebrated. In April 2023, she pointed out that the game's changed since her days, with things like the three-point line and smaller basketballs making comparisons tricky. Basically, Woodard's saying, "Back in my day, we walked uphill both ways in the snow, and we liked it." She's highlighting how the game's evolved, but also how the old-school legends might be holding the new stars to outdated standards. All this resistance from the WNBA legends shows there's a bit of a cultural divide. The current stars like Taurasi and Swoops had to claw their way to recognition, fighting tooth and nail for every bit of respect. Their skepticism about Clark seems like a defense of their hard-earned legacy. But here's the kicker. If the WNBA wants to keep growing, it's got to embrace new talent like Caitlin Clark with open arms, not folded ones. Moreover, LeBron, the guy who basically owns basketball, has been singing Clark's praises from the rooftops, calling her the real deal and going on and on about her mad skills. And then we've got Steph Curry, the three-point wizard himself, saying Clark's shooting range is as ridiculous as his own. These endorsements have catapulted Clark's profile into the stratosphere, but they've also highlighted a noticeable silence from the WNBA icons. Now, let's talk about Diana Taurasi. She's basically the queen of the WNBA, and she's had some doubts about Clark's transition to the Pro League. Back in March 2023, Taurasi said something like, "Sure, you look superhuman against 18-year-olds, but it's a whole different story in the WNBA." Cheryl Swoops, another WNBA legend, chimed in too, saying, "It's a different ballgame here." These comments aren't just about tough love, they're highlighting the sky-high standards of the WNBA, and maybe a bit of reluctance to roll out the welcome mat for new talent. What all this resistance from WNBA veterans reveals is a cultural divide within the league. Stars like Taurasi and Swoops represent a generation that had to claw their way to the top, fighting for every bit of recognition. Their skepticism about Clark is kind of like a defense mechanism for their legacy and the struggles they went through. But here's the kicker. If the WNBA wants to keep growing and thriving, it's got to embrace new talent like Caitlin Clark with open arms, not crossed ones. Now, despite all doubts and hatred, picture this. In the 2022 to 2023 season, Caitlin Clark decided to rewrite the record books, scoring a mind-blowing 1,053 points in a single season. She didn't just break the record, she smashed it, leaving the previous record holder, Kelsey Plum, looking like she was playing a different game. And let's be real, scoring 1,080 points over an entire collegiate career is no small feat, but Clark did more in one season than most players dream of in 4. Clark's ability to score from literally anywhere on the court is like having a cheat code. Combine that with her playmaking skills, and you've got a recipe for rewriting history. But like any good story, there's a twist. Thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, athletes got an extra year of eligibility. Clark took full advantage of this, and some folks aren't too happy about it. Critics are saying, hey, wait a minute, does this really count? Kelsey Plum, who set her scoring record within the standard 4-year period, is the gold standard. She did it old school, no extra time, just pure talent. Meanwhile, Clark's extra season has some folks grumbling. Lexi Brown, a WNBA player, took to Twitter in March 2023 to voice her concerns, saying, "An extra year makes a huge difference in accumulating stats. It's like saying, sure, you got the high score, but you had 5 quarters to my 4. Lexi Brown's criticism also hints at a bit of jealousy and resistance. It's like the old guard versus the new guard, with Brown wanting to protect the integrity of women's basketball records. She's saying, hey, let's keep it fair, folks. This sentiment reflects a broader issue within the league. How do we balance celebrating new talent while honoring the achievements of the past? It's a tricky tightrope to walk, and Brown's comments highlight that struggle. Then, Ice Cube, yes, the rapper turned entrepreneur, decides to drop a bombshell offer of $5 million to Caitlink Clark to join his Big Three league. This offer, announced in April 2023, is like waving a golden ticket in front of Clark, trying to pull her away from the usual WNBA route. Ice Cube, being the savvy businessman he is, knows a star when he sees one and wants to cash in on Clark's skyrocketing fame. This kind of cash is unheard of in women's basketball, where players are more used to counting their blessings than their millions. But hold up, not everyone is thrilled about this. Enter Lexi Brown, a WNBA star who's got some serious thoughts on the matter. In April 2023, she took to Twitter and didn't hold back. Instead of supporting the existing women's league, he's trying to divert talent elsewhere, she tweeted. Basically, she's saying Ice Cube is trying to steal the show just when the WNBA is gaining momentum. Brown's frustration echoes the sentiments of many in the WNBA, who feel like this offer is a sneaky way to draw attention away from the league at a crucial time, right in the middle of the NCAA tournament. Now, let's talk money, because that's where things get real interesting. The WNBA's max salary for a star player in 2023 is around $228,000. Compare that to Ice Cube's $5 million offer, and it's like comparing a kiddie pool to the Pacific Ocean. This massive gap highlights a big problem in women's sports: the financial struggle. WNBA players often have to play overseas during the offseason just to make ends meet. Clark eyeing that Big Three offer shines a spotlight on these issues, basically asking, why can't the WNBA pay its top players more? If Caitlink Clark decides to take Ice Cube up on his offer, it's going to shake things up big time. Imagine this: Clark joins the Big Three, and suddenly, other top players start thinking, hey, maybe I should follow the money too. This could force the WNBA to take a hard look at its pay structure and competitive opportunities if they want to keep their stars. Plus, Clark joining the Big Three could boost that league's profile, drawing more attention and investment into women's basketball, but outside the WNBA's traditional setup. But at the end of the day, it's all about you and your love for the game that drives you forward. Throughout your career, you're going to have haters, naysayers, and critics. The best way to deal with them? Give them a friendly wave, say hi, and then get back to work so your game can do the talking and shut them up for good. That's the lesson we can all learn from Caitlink Clark. She's got her eyes on the prize, not the noise. Do you think she's got it right? I sure do.